Again, good morning and welcome to Mayor Gray's biweekly City Hall press briefing, being held today in this beautifully new constructed Department of Employment Services building. And here today, the mayor will announce another partner in our One City, One Hire program. Prior to the mayor coming to the stage, he would like the following announcements. One, beginning on Monday, the Department of Public Works will begin its leaf collection program. Brochures were sent out to every resident in the District of Columbia, and information can be found at dpw.dc.org. Each year, DPW collects over 10,000 tons of leaves from the neighborhoods across this city, and each year the program is improved. This year, DPW will compost bag leaves along with loose leaves, vacuum in the tree boxes, and they're asking everyone to vacuum their place their leaves in front of the tree boxes the weekend before your collection. So on that weekend, they need you to be dutiful as residents and get your leaves out. For more information, please visit their website. Additionally, we want to remind you that the first nationwide test for emergency alert system will take place on November the 9th. This is happening across the country, and as a part of their ongoing effort to keep our communities safe, the Federal Communications Commission, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which is FEMA, in coordination with the Federal Communications Commission and the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, will conduct its first nationwide alert. This alert will last up to a couple of minutes and will be transmitted via television and radio stations within the United States, Alaska, Hawaii, and the territories of Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we're asking all residents to be aware that on November the 9th, a nationwide emergency test alert system will go into effect. Lastly, we want to remind everyone that Veterans Day is just around the corner, and the mayor is announcing today that the D.C. Department of Veteran Affairs is events for D.C. veterans and their families. On Thursday, November the 10th, Mayor Gray and the National Park Service, Preserve D.C., and the Office of Veteran Affairs are hosting a ceremony for the rededication of the D.C. World War I Memorial, honoring D.C. veterans who served and died in World War I. We're asking people to come out and support these events. A number of these events will be posted as well on the website. There's also a free concert that will be held, and you'll be glad to know that that concert will feature the Shy-Lights, Kool and the Gang, and is open and free to the public, and that will also happen on Thursday, November the 10th. So it's going to be a lot of fun, as well as a rededication and commemoration of those who lost their lives, and to remember those who are currently at war. So we invite you to take note of all these events, and they're in your press folders. I present to you Mayor Vincent Gray at this time.
Good morning. Let's see how many people are truthful today. How many people remember the Shy-Lights and Kool and the Gang? I see you reluctantly putting your hand up, Nikita. Yeah, Kool and the Gang. You don't remember the Shy-Lights? Yeah. Oh, I see. I see. Well, they both were very good. They both are very good. Obviously are. Anyway, let me say good morning to everybody. I want to thank you all for coming out. We're pleased to be here at the DOES headquarters again today, and with our director, Lisa Mallory, and with officials from Metro. I want to acknowledge the presence of my appointee to the board, Tom Downs, who of course is a former city administrator and has served with distinction in this city for so many years. And I'm singling out Tom because he really has been a catalyst for helping us get to where we are today. And I think it's a wonderful example that while unemployment is seemingly intractable in this nation, there are so many resources that we can use to be able to catalyze opportunities for people. And Tom has proved to be an invaluable one in this situation today. So I ask us to give a big hand to Tom Downs and thank him for what he's doing. I really want to continue to highlight what we are doing to create jobs for District of Columbia residents. And of course, I think you know among our priorities, job creation and economic development as a tandem continue to be at the top of the list for very obvious reasons because of the level of unemployment that we experience in this city, especially on the East End where we are now, in Ward 7 where I live, and Ward 8 which is right next door, which are well in the double digits in terms of unemployment. I think, as you know, the One City, One Hire program, which we kicked off a little bit less than 2 months ago, is a cornerstone in our effort to put people back to work. And today, I'm another great One City, One Hire partnership that will result in D.C. residents being hired by Metro. And here we are right at Metro. And anyway, in just a short period of time, the One City, One Hire initiative, we believe, has had a profound impact on, frankly, literally hundreds of people who live in the District of Columbia. Our employer list is growing every day. I think we're probably now between, 170 and 200 employers who have signed on in a variety of ways, and they include companies like Ross, Dress for Success, where we were a few weeks to celebrate the hiring of, 60 to 65 people, 40 of whom were unemployed at the time that they were hired. 7-Eleven, we were here just a couple of weeks ago as 7-Eleven opened 2 new stores, or is opening 2 new stores, agreed to come on as a One City, One Hire employer, and worked with us to identify up to 38 employees for their new stores. And on the day I was here, I think they actually hired 26 employees to work, and I was here when the first person was identified. I have a feeling that gentleman's going to wind up shortly being a manager, having watched him in his interview. We've got Safeway on board, we've got Rite Aid on board, and of course starting today, we have Metro on board as a part of this effort. Just in terms of numbers, as of today, we've placed 330 D.C. residents in jobs, and as I indicated earlier, we have now 170 employers who have signed on. And what's uplifting is that a number of these employers really are working with multiple numbers, not just one, as in the title, One City, One Hire. I think this is an example also of people's growing confidence in the government to be a real partner in this. While it's very difficult for the government to create jobs and obviously to hire people in this economy, what we can be is an effective bridge to the other side. And who have the need for a job, and we have people who have jobs. What is astounding, and I'll say it again, and that is that we actually in this region have more job vacancies than we do have people who are looking for a job in this city. So the question is, can we use what is probably the most pronounced leverage that we have, and that is between the unemployed and people who are employers, to be able to get people hired, and that's what this program is proving to be. And I want to thank again Metro for signing on and being a part of this, and specifically they will work with us, work with DOES to hire new bus operators. And these are jobs that pay well. These jobs start somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 a year, or to put it in terms of hourly wage, I think a minimum of $20 an hour to start with benefits as you qualify for those benefits, and then it just goes up from there based on your performance. And it could lead to positions as, train operators, as managers, and other opportunities in the company. Over the past several weeks, DOES, on our behalf, of course, has pre-screened residents who are seeking jobs with Metro and arranged for Metro today to be able to interview the most qualified applicants, and there are a lot of them who are taking the test today, and that will be the next step, the next step in this first set of efforts. Again, I think we know that these jobs are steady, they're reliable, and they won't be going anywhere anytime soon, given the fact that we have a very substantial bus system in the city. The candidates at Metro will be meeting and interviewing today have been determined by DOES to have the relevant prior experience or have backgrounds that would suggest that they can become highly trained bus operators. I want to turn now to Jack Requa, who is the Assistant General Manager of Metro's bus services, and ask him if he would come up and share with you more information about the positions that we will be filling. Just so you know, that DOES already has pre-screened, I think, 48 candidates. 26 of those candidates will be taking the test today in order to be able to be hired. We are confident that all 26 will pass the test, which means they will move to the next step. So with that having been said, Jack, you are a long-time leader at Metro. We appreciate what you've done over the years, and we appreciate you and your colleagues working with us in this endeavor to get people back to work again. Jack.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. I'm Jack Requa, Assistant General Manager for Bus Service, and I'm pleased to represent Metro here today. Metro Bus operates 1,492 buses throughout the system, carries over 450,000 passengers on an average weekday, and 280,000 of those riders are from the District of Columbia. From the beginning of Metro's existence, Metro has enjoyed the partnership with the District of Columbia and have found it to be beneficial for both parties. Metro partnered with the District of Columbia for the building of the 106-mile rail system. Metro also partnered with the District of Columbia for the purchase of the buses and also the management services for the DC circulator. And now Metro is continuing to establish partnerships with the district to find critically needed employees to assist in operating and maintaining the bus system. I will add that not only if you want to be a rail train operator or a station manager, the funnel for that is through the bus operator position. So we're talking about 4,000 positions within Metro that are hired through the process that potential employees are going through today. These two needs have brought us this morning to where DC residents are being tested, as the mayor said, and it's the first step in the process, and we're trying to expedite the process to get more and more DC residents into the candidate pool for bus operators. Today is an example of the district's Department of Employment Services and Metro working together to advance the mayor's One City, One Hire initiative and provide employment opportunities, and we're pleased to be a partner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jack. Again, we're delighted to we have a number of Metro officials who are here with us today. Of course, I mentioned Tom earlier. We have Art Lawson, who is a long-time leader in transportation in the city, and right now happens to be working for Metro. Art, thank you very much for being here as well. I want to mention something that's a little bit off the topic, but it deals with Metro. Our city administrator, Alan Liu, and I met last night. We made a commitment a while ago to have a memorial that will be dedicated to the people who were killed in the Metro accident, and we are actually going to be moving forward with that. We looked at some designs last night, and of course we'll be working with Metro. We'll be working with the families as we move forward to try to get that done to memorialize those who were on the train that day. We're going to go inside shortly. I'll be happy to take any questions at this stage. I do want to apologize. I'm going to have to leave a little bit early today. I've been actually invited by the president to be a part of his announcement today. Bridge, working on the American Jobs Act, which is certainly a compliment, or we're a compliment to what he's trying to do to get people back to work again. He will be a key bridge to focus on what infrastructure investments can result in here in America. The key bridge has already been determined to be deficient and needs investments. He is there to be able to highlight the investments that would be made if the American Jobs Act infrastructure component is implemented. Our own DDOT has been involved in that, and I think we've estimated that it would cost about $20 million in order to get the bridge to a point where those deficiencies would be corrected. So I'm looking forward to being there with him today. And Frankly, I'm delighted that increasingly this administration is coming into the District of Columbia to highlight things that are going on here, or ways in which investments at the federal level would benefit the entire nation. So with that said, let me open it up to any questions that you all may have, and in a few minutes we'll go inside so we can see what's going on with the Bruce.
Ms. Marion, you brought the key bridge. Now I have two questions. I mean, how many jobs are we talking about? I mean, should the president get his way and the key bridge become?
I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think we have anybody from DDOT, but obviously they would be construction jobs. We'll get an answer for you on that, Bruce. We'll ask Linda to get an answer for you.
My other question, going back to Metro, it's probably a question for Jack. Can you tell us right now, I mean, how many D.C. residents currently work for Metro as bus drivers or whatever? I mean, can you give us some idea?
Well, I would say it's probably not enough. Considering the region and where the folks are living, I think the percentages are probably in the 45? About 40. 4 to 5% of our employees come out of the district, and we certainly would like to see an increase in that.
I want to make sure I heard that. 4 to 5, not 45%.
4 to 5 is what I'm being told. Art knows.
Why is that? Why are those numbers so low? Help us understand.
Well, I think we've got many openings in many different areas. We're certainly interested in qualified people from the transit region to participate, and I think we need more programs like this to try to get those qualified people into Metro.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask you the same question? I mean, you're talking 280,000 passengers that Metro transports, and only 4 to 5% of the employees are from DC. Why is that? How can that happen?
Well, it's extremely low, Bruce. Obviously Metro has a responsibility in that, and then we have a responsibility as well, which we're trying to step up at this stage, and that is trying to be much more aggressive and proactive in identifying opportunities that exist here in the city. And then, in this case, working with Metro to open those doors, to let them know that we have, our own employment services department here in the city that is prepared to recruit and help to prepare qualified candidates. It is very, very low. I mean, in essence, what that is also saying that 95 to 96% of the people who work for Metro don't live in the District of Columbia, especially when clearly an overwhelmingly large percentage of the system is in the District of Columbia. So we're going to work to try to improve that outcome. In fact, it unfortunately underscores again the fact that of the jobs in the District of Columbia, only 30% of them are filled by people who live in the city. And when you look at the fact that people who don't live in the city pay taxes elsewhere, it is a huge loss in what would normally be revenue to a jurisdiction, here in the city.
But it begs for a follow-up. Jack, can I ask, I mean, other than bus drivers, I mean, we're only talking 4 to 5% of the position going to D.C. residents. Other than bus drivers, what else are you doing to hire D.C. residents?
Well, we have lots of positions available. For instance, we have in the bus department 63 vacancies in the mechanics area. People with the ASE certification, we would walk in today. We're ready to hire. We have with the capital improvement program that Metro is doing with Dulles Rail, not far off. There's going to be many more opportunities to fill engineering jobs, mechanic type jobs, technician type jobs. Bus operators, and then again, bus operators become train operators and station managers.
So how many vacancies do we have in Metro?
It's in the hundreds, I'm sure. There's at least 100 current vacancies for bus operators, train operators, and station managers. Again, we have mechanics positions that are available, and with the capital improvement program, I know that there are, I'm guessing, hundreds of jobs that are open at this time.
One of the things, Bruce, that we're going to do, and we've already started this, not just with Metro, but in other instances, and that is making sure that the training that we provide through DOES is geared to what really exists out there. We've had people who provided training historically, perennially over the years, and then in some instances there haven't been jobs that they could turn to at the end of it. Our training now is going to be geared to what we know is out there. And this is a great example of that. Also, with the community college now in place, we're working with them also around short-term training that will prepare people for these jobs. And frankly, I'm confident this is just the. First of all, there will be approximately 30 positions a month for bus operators, which means there will be somewhere between 300 and 400 jobs a year identified for bus operators. But we've got mechanics, as Jack just indicated. There are other roles within Metro for which people could be hired. And those are not just jobs, those are careers that pay extremely well. So again, I think this highlights what we're trying to do differently and trying to work more closely with the potential partners in this community to fill the jobs that do exist. The other thing I might mention too is we're using Tom Downs' situation as an illustration, because we have appointees on other boards, like DC Water, for example, where there are lots of jobs. And we want our appointees on those boards to also be emissaries around creating job opportunities for people who live in the District of Columbia, just like Tom Downs did. And he said, listen, I represent the District of Columbia. How many bus operator positions are there vacant? How many will there be every month going forward? That's what we want at DC Water and these other independent agencies where we have board members. That's one of the most useful functions that they can perform. Tom.
I wanted to ask the gentleman a question. Is it that the District of Columbia citizens apply for jobs and don't get them, or you just don't have that many applicants from the district?
Well, I'd have to ask our employment office, but I think it's just the lack of applicants in many cases, and then some of the others are qualifications. So any training programs that can assist will be of great benefit to qualifying people for the jobs.
Knowing about the jobs and being qualifying for the jobs.
Yes, yeah, we certainly try to work with the Department of Employment Services, our website, post the jobs that are open on a regular basis. So, we're trying to get the word out that we do have openings. They're filling immediately, and we need qualified people, and that's what we're looking for.
Again, I think it bespeaks what we're trying to do, and I think we're having some success with the services itself, and that is to be seen by employers as a real resource that can recruit candidates, can train candidates, can screen candidates, can get them right to the doorstep of being able to move into a job. And I think, again, this is a good illustration of that. Ms. Brazil.
I have a question for what are the qualifications for applying for jobs with Metro? Would a deterrent from applying be one if someone has a arrest record, or is there a minimum education requirement? What are the requirements basically?
Well, depending on the position, you have to be a high school graduate. There is a screening process for instance, for a bus operator to have a respectable driving record and driving experience. There is a background check. There's a federal laws require drug testing. So all of these tests need to be, people have to go through that screening process before they, can be put into a training program.
Would an arrest record be a
Arrest record could be a problem depending on what's on the record.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask you a question? Your office sent out a press release billing today's press briefing as a focus on job and job creation. Could you speak to the issue of risks within your administration? Yesterday at the council's legislative session, about 30 DPW employees showed up, indicating that they had recently read the solid waste management program. And I've received calls from your administration that the Department of Health, HIV office, is about to rip at least 30 individuals over in the HIV office. On the one hand, you're talking about job creation, but on the other hand, people are leaving the district payroll for risk. So what is the situation regarding risk, and what are the ones that are on the door?
Well, I think you asked about two specific instances, and we got Bill Howland here to talk about the solid waste area, and Dr. Actor is here to talk about the Department of Health. But I think as well as anybody, that this city has been challenged with budget reductions. And we committed ourselves to a structurally balanced budget. I don't think that there's any inconsistency in saying we want to get people back to work, and we also need to have a balanced budget that could result in a reduction of jobs. I frankly think what that means is that we are increasingly looking to the private sector to be able to employ people. The government, as you well know, has long been a huge employer, probably the biggest employer in the District of Columbia. When you look at what we're doing in the area of technology, Deputy Mayor Hoskins is working feverishly in that area to try to bring more technology jobs to the city. And we just met with the St. Elizabeth's Redevelopment Initiative Advisory Group yesterday, and we're looking at the East Campus becoming a hub for that. So without engaging in any hyperbole at this juncture, I think you can look for there being more jobs in the private sector than there have in the past, because simply that's where the growth is taking place. Bill, you want to talk about, you would know more directly about any rifts there than I would.
Good morning. In DPW, we took about 30 positions cut in parking enforcement. About 17 of those employees were able to put in vacant positions. So I think about less than, about 13 of them actually walked out the door. And then in the sweep area, our sweep sanitation inspectors, we had about 30 positions over there that were identified for reduction in force. I think about 4 of those people were placed in other positions. The reason why we took identified the sweep inspectors for the reduction in force was I was looking across the department to see where we could best take the hit. I don't think any department head would want to have their force reduced, but in order to balance the budget, we did our part in that, and we took the hit where we thought we could most afford to take a hit. But we're working on trying to find it and place those employees.
Good morning. Normally, in the health department, there are 80% of our budget comes from the federal grants. And all the employees that are hired on the federal grants are grant-hired employees. That means they are with the grant. When the grant runs out, we try to place them in other places if we can find the places for them. So what's happening is that there's federal reduction in the federal funding for HIV/AIDS. There's a potential for less than 10 people to be laid off. I say potential because we are negotiating. We are going through the process to see if we can accommodate them at some place, and that's the process that has just started. And by the time it's got, my sense is that there'll be less than 5 people who may have to be ripped.
I think this question is a concrete example of some of the anxiety that's being experienced around what, the super committee is working on, and that is, more than $1 trillion in cuts over the next 10 years that will be announced sometime before the beginning of calendar 2012. And one of our fears has been that those cuts could disproportionately impact the District of Columbia and the surrounding region, and that certainly could mean the loss of jobs because the funding has been used to support jobs in this government and in the governments in the surrounding area. Again, it's a concrete example of one of the concerns that we have. We recognize, too, and this is a part of our own efforts, that our government is not going to grow at the rate that it's grown in the past. We had a relatively small percentage of growth in the fiscal year 12 budget, hardly consistent, frankly, with inflation, because we recognize that while the government will be looked to provide, an enormous amount of services, a lot of this effort is going to have to be focused on the private sector in the future, and that's why we've got to have a Department of Employment Services that really is equipped to be able to do that and to be looked to by the private sector as a viable source to be able to get this done. We'll take one more question and then we'll go inside. Mark.
Well, I have a question for Director Howland on the 30 fewer people writing parking tickets. District, can you talk a little bit about?
Well, unfortunately, they're not the parking officers. They're the booters. So that's a good thing. So if you have outstanding parking tickets, you have a better chance of escaping right now. And the impoundment lot, some of those employees were laid off.
What does sweep do?
Sweep they do sanitation enforcement. So they write tickets for illegal dumping and those types of things.
We're going to go inside because we'll try to take them along the way because I've got to get out of here, Tom. Well, I'll talk to you after. I'll talk to you after this. All right. Thank you all very much.